In previous video, I spoke about how to start tap into healthy masculine archetype energies. This video is first of 4 mini video series about 4 main masculine archetypes, and in these videos we will get to know each of the archetypes a little better with their key features. So in today's video I'm going to talk about specifically King archetype. In next video I'll be talking about Warrior, then about Magician, and last but not least about Lover archetype. And in these videos we will see how divine masculine is expressed through different primordial aspects, or should I say potentials. World famous psychologist Carl Jung and his successors have found out that human psyche is grounded and consists of instinctual patterns and energy configurations, and they can be called as archetypes. And these archetypes impact how we behave, how we feel, how we think, and how we react. And these archetypes can also overlap to a degree. The unfortunate thing is that we most often experience negative embodiment of masculine and feminine in this world. Why is that? Well, it's because we, as babies and children from early age, we immediately start to imprint our parents and other adults around us as our ideal role models, not knowing that they are far from ideal and they are not embodiment of divine, positive, mature, masculine and feminine. And for this reason, we can experience our archetypes expressing in their fullness. By fullness, I mean in their positive, their mature, their healthy way. And we can also experience these archetypes express themselves through immature, negative, wounded, shadow forms, or as psychologists like to say, through bipolar, dysfunctional way. And when we experience them in a negative, in shadow form, that is an indication that our psyche is fragmented, and these shadow bipolar forms of archetype needs to be reintegrated to the rest of the archetype. So it becomes again whole and complete. And fragmentation of psyche shows that our parenting was not, we didn't experience the best parenting in our childhood. That's why we have split psyche, split consciousness, multiple parts. And that shows trauma that needs to be resolved. And this split psyche or fragmentation of our psyche, of course, also impacts our life, how we show up in life. So let's now talk about King, him being in his fullness, integrated, positive, healthy, matured form. What are some of the key features of healthy King archetype showing in life? For this video, I have decided to put King's features in key categories. And the first category of positive and healthy King energy's expression is divine or divinity. King is closest to God. He is representative to, and not only representative but also embodiment of divine order, divine will, the right way how to live. King is responsible to live in divine way, and it will show up in his life, because King and his kingdom are mirroring each other. If King is living according to divine order, his kingdom is going to flourish. And if he's not living according to divine order, his kingdom, his people will perish. So King has basically this feedback that he can see whether he's doing a good job or not by looking at his kingdom. And in our context, in our practical context, the term kingdom, we can interpret it as our own life. How are we doing in our life? Are we thriving? Are we struggling? So life gives us excellent feedback in this case, if we are doing a good job or not. We can perceive life as our own kingdom, as our own reality, in what kind of reality we are currently living. So this just basically affirms what has been told times and times again also in manifestation or law of attraction communities, that we do have opportunity to also influence our reality, and we are conscious creators. So what we experience externally, our kingdom, is to extent reflection of our inner state, our inner kingdom within us. In this sense, King's energy is about walking your talk. It's about integrity. It's about, if we are asking something of others, are we honoring the same requirements ourselves? King's energy is about first embodying the divine order and then passing it to the others. It's about being a role model to others, leading by example. That is King's energy. And King's kingdom can truly flourish if there is a queen besides him, if there is a creative partnership between King and his queen. And King's responsibility is also to take care of his queen. And when they both come together, then a completely different level of creative energy can emerge between two of them, because feminine is very important to spin the creative vortex. So without queen, the king is not as complete and as powerful creator as together with her. So yeah, until King has found his queen, he prepares to take care of her and to nurture her. What are some other divine features of King? He is servant of transpersonal or divine will, or in other words you could say that he has a big life purpose, life mission that is usually bigger than his own needs. So he is responsible for not just himself but the bigger picture, other people as well involved, for the order on the earth, for the bigger community. He is in service of cosmos, or in his own realm, his own kingdom. Another associations of King's divinity can be Father's energy. King is embodiment of true Father's energy, because he takes care of others. King can be also associated with primordial man or primordial father, the first father, or Adam energy also. The next category of King's beneficial features is order and generative. King is generative. He generates. King is creative. King is also life-giving by making land fertile. King also creates order by law, by decree, by word, by rules. And King also not only creates order, but he defends it and expands it. So in this sense you could say that also some warrior aspect is present in King's actions. King basically structures reality. He consolidates. He brings chaos under control. He creates through concept. King also, of course, sets boundaries. And King archetype itself is central archetype of all. It binds together all the rest archetypes in order and in harmony. So you could say King is like central axis around which rest is revolving around. So King has very organizing, very structuring, very unifying energy. Next category of King's features is healing and or blessing. So King's presence is very integrating. He's blessing those around him who deserve it. And he's promoting others to take up responsibilities. He's valuing others. King makes others feel seen, valued. It's a very powerful encouragement to others that heals others and allows them to be in their fullness. King is also a presence of reassurance in times of crisis or instability. King remains calm and present and guides others and nurtures others to their fullness. And King seeks peace and stability and growth of all people. He is a life giver that is opposite to the cult of death that we have so much experienced on this planet, which is destruction, suffering. Good king is opposite of that. What are some other individual features of good king? King, of course, has influence. He takes initiative, takes necessary action to promote prosperity in his kingdom. King is experienced and wise. King is also compassionate. He's fair. He's leader, authority. He is embodiment of ultimate responsibility. Practical tip in embodying more king energy would be, for example, if you want to start embodying more leadership in your life, then you also have to figure out how you can start doing that and practicing that on a daily basis. It can be small incremental steps that you take responsibility for some things in your daily life. Because it's necessary also in order to embody and open up more to this king archetype energy. We also need to take actions ourselves. It's not just enough to meditate and wait without taking practical action ourselves. When we start taking action, we also act as or like king, and in this way we allow ourselves to open up even more to upcoming king archetype energy. King's consciousness within us can again rise and activate itself and become more stronger in our daily life through our actions, through our speech, through our choices, through our attitudes. So we need also to do things so we can come together with our inner archetype. In this first part of the video we spoke about positive king. Now let's look at some of the signs of negative or shadow king expressing itself in our life. Shadow king expresses two types of behaviors. The first one is being insecure and narcissistic in his actions. So basically this first type of insecure narcissistic king, shadow king, we can call him Tyrant. He's very insecure of his own position. He envies others. He is not generative but destructive. He exploits and abuses others to gain his own self-interest. So you can see there is quite difference from the good king that we discussed earlier. Tyrant is against beauty, against talent, strength. He degrades all of it and depreciates it in people around him. Tyrant in all of us can sometimes manifest when we feel tired, we feel pushed to the limit, we are irritated. Tyrants seek attention of others and don't want to give their own attention to others. They exist, they feel as center of the universe, and they are only interested to meet their own needs at the expense of others. They are only serving to themselves. And of course, Tyrant is very sensitive to criticism. When there is criticism addressed to Tyrant, he feels weak and deflated, and Tyrant has strong rage, when he sees weakness in others, but he doesn't realize that this weakness in others that he sees, it's a mirror of his own weakness that he feels inside, very worthless. So he cannot stand that. The second type of shadow king can be called weakling. He is impotent. He projects king outside of him into others, not in himself. He doesn't want to take initiative. He fears responsibility. And weakling is also paranoid. He might have mindset to get others before they get him. So it's like this preventive strike which can provoke retaliation from others. Basically, weakling is very disempowered, very dependent on others, relies on others. And weakling can develop in children, in childhood, when parents are too strict, too controlling, too, you could also say this, obsessively protective, that they limit their own children from experiencing and expressing themselves in independent manner. And so in this way, weakling becomes very insecure and relies on his parents. So our shadow king can also manifest as either getting spoiled too much in childhood, too much adoration when child has no sense of, you could say, humbleness, and he's not down to earth, but he really feels entitled, that he deserves everything. And yeah, he can become very rageful when his needs are not met by his parents or other people around him. So in this case, if the person has been spoiled too much since the early childhood and has narcissistic tendencies, then what he needs to learn is that he can also meet his own needs, not at the expense of others, but by also helping other people meet their own needs. He also is able to meet his own needs with that. So life doesn't have to be a constant zero-sum game to gain for yourself at the expense of others. That's the lesson for this shadow aspect. Another way how Shadow King manifests is getting that child got constantly attacked in his childhood. He didn't get enough praise, as the opposite of the previous example, when getting too much spoiled. So in this case, the child's, you could say, self-esteem gets crushed early and hard. And when he grows up, he tries to overcompensate that by trying to manipulate other people and getting what needs were not met during his childhood. So in this case, this person needs to learn how to feel worthy in a healthy manner without needing to manipulate others. Also, a very good way how we can address these wounded, immature parts of ours that manifest from time to time in our life, it's not if they manifest, it's just when and how much. So what we can do about them is doing shadow work, which is, I think, great modality that can help to reintegrate those wounded parts of ours that have been living continuously in trauma. If we don't want to be impacted by them anymore in our life, and we don't want to get triggered in certain situations because of this old trauma. So shadow work is a great modality that can help us to reintegrate our fragmented psyche, our disowned parts, so our archetypes can express themselves in a more fullness, in more full, more healthy manner. And we don't have to experience these shadow, unhealthy, negative poles of our archetype, whether it's king or warrior, magician or lover. I think that most of us are definitely interested in stop having immature reactions in our life, in certain triggering life situations. In the end, I want to say, if we want to experience our archetypes in their fullness, we have to do both things. First, we need to work how we can tap into their positive, their full, matured side, but we also need to, what I just said, we also need to work with their shadow poles to integrate them into the fullness of archetype. When we do that, then the picture is complete and we can experience fullness of these archetypes. So shadow work as well. Thank you for listening, watching this video. I hope this was beneficial to you. If you have any questions, any comments, thoughts you want to share with me, feel free to do so. I read comments. Have a great day.